It's been one wild week in the US since the great migration from TikTok to Xiaohongshu, and we are not okay.
To the US government, I'm never forgiving you for this, and I'm never gonna trust you ever again. It's really not fair.
TikTok's CEO begged Trump for help as if he wasn't the one that proposed the ban in the first place.
I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States.
When I wanted to disable TikTok 3 years ago, I was met with opposition from rhinos, Democrats, and everyone else. They actually went to court in an effort to stop me.
Other US-based social media platforms scrambled to attract new users. Snapchat announced a new monetization program. Instagram created a CapCut clone for editing and increased the length of time for short-form videos. YouTube did the same thing. Meanwhile, on Xiaohongshu, things were chaotic. The company worked tirelessly trying to get a grip on things by posting ads for English-speaking moderators, and they added a translate function for comments. Chinese people learned that the average American household is not worth $1.2 million. Apparently, the U.S. Embassy in China released a document online that said the average American household was worth $1.2 million. Huh? What? Of course, people ran to Xiaohongshu to ask real Americans, is this true? They were met with accurate answers of absolutely not. Surprise! This Beijing man was brought to tears when he found out that many Americans sell blood plasma in order to make ends meet and take care of their families. In between begging for followers, Americans found out what I and every other American who lives in China has been saying for years. Living in China is much easier than living in the United States of America.
I told y'all! Y'all thought I was playing, but I told y'all!
Some U.S. senators are furious about all this free education and already discussing banning Xiaohongshu.
Raise the question of RedNote. Well, guess what? If TikTok users flood to RedNote, they're going to face the same challenge there.
Oh, so we live in the communist place.
It's really not fair.
Over the weekend, the then former President Trump made some wishy-washy statement about working out a deal to save TikTok. He got everyone's hopes up and then boom, everyone's screen looked like this hours ahead of the scheduled go dark time. Less than 24 hours later,
We're back! We're back! We're back! As of today, TikTok is back.
No, what was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
I don't give a fuck if he stopped the world from fucking aliens. I'm not thinking that shit.
the very next day, the former president was sworn in as the new president. He declared that now the US only recognizes two genders. He pardoned a bunch of violent criminals, and his bestie got on stage and made this awkward gesture that sent social media into a frenzy.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
That's not even the half of it. We are not okay. I'm Jessica, and you've reached the destination. At the beginning of the week, my Xiaohongshu Explore page looked like Clubhouse, and BetterHelp had a baby with some fun musical interludes. Clubhouse is an audio-only social media platform that allows users to have real-time conversations. It launched in 2020 and immediately became a big hit because
I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Users joined rooms based on the topic and conversed. I didn't know this was a function on Xiaohongshu until a friend sent me a link. Out of respect for the sensitive conversation being shared, I did not record. However, I did take notes. When I entered, an American guy was talking about his life as a retail salesperson, being the youngest person on his team and having Crohn's disease. He was explaining how stressful it all was. The next person on the mic was a woman from Texas explaining that being Latina and unmarried at the age of 28 was very difficult for her. I'm not really sure what the topic was. It seemed like it was just people wanting to hear from Americans about their lives. My takeaway was, everybody needs therapy.
You need to see a therapist.
Because why are you spilling your guts to people who can barely understand what you're saying? People in the audience can type comments as they are listening. And as I was reading the comments, there was a whole lot of "Aya, Tingbodong, Shaya, Shamisa." All of that just means I don't understand what's being said. What are they talking about? Somebody translate, please. Some people were listening through live translation headphones, which are really cool, but most of the people were not. They did have people on the panel who were bilingual and translating. Sidebar, the amount of Americans in the United States who were flabbergasted at the amount of Americans living and thriving and studying in China and can speak Chinese fluently, hilarious. By the way, I am not fluent in Mandarin. I am functional. There is a big difference. Anyway, seeing all this whole dynamic, this cultural exchange was really cool, but also very sad and relatable. I too have whined on the internet about how much my American life sucks.
Aww.
As the week went on, Xiaohongshu became less fun for me and a lot of the people who used the platform before this influx of foreigners. On the bright side, people whose worlds never would have collided are asking each other questions and getting answers.
Hey, where are you from?
Washington. What about you?
I'm from China. I have an American dream.
Why? China seems way better than America.
Oh, I don't usually hear that from people. Usually American people be like, oh, do you want to come to America? When I was younger, I watched High School Musical and I'm like, oh shit, that looks fun. I want that.
Do you think that's how actually like the high school life is in America?
Is it not? Because it's based on American high school. They don't just like good looking girls and boys, they're like dating and like having fun, singing, dancing.
No, bro, there's so many school shootings.
What? Shooting?
Yes.
That is so interesting because like the cultural like influence it has on the world is so enormous.
Yeah, I bet.
Because we grew up, we were watching, American movies. We hear so much about this message of like, middle class American. They live the best life, work a 9-to-5 job, buy a house, have a blonde wife, have multiple kids and cars.
That's so interesting. So you just want to live the basic life of an American?
Okay, it might seem basic to you, but to the rest of the world, it's like the American dream.
Like almost every American hates their life and does not want to work that 9-to-5.
Well, that was a sobering conversation, but the biggest topic was healthcare. Chinese are floored at how expensive it is in America, and Americans are gutted at how little it costs in China. Apparently, some Chinese thought American women get an entire year of maternity leave. Huh? Maybe this belief came from the company Netflix offering that to its employees. That was true, but spoiler alert, they don't do that anymore. The average maternity leave time in the US is 10 weeks. That's about 70 days. In China, women get a minimum of 98 days by law. It's the law. They have to have at least 98 days. They also have an entire postpartum ritual that lasts for 30 days. Everyone is shocked to see how things really are in both countries. But for many people, the app has lost its charm because this was never the original purpose. Obviously, you can post whatever you want, but a lot of people are complaining about how cluttered and just ugly the homepage looks now. This is like looking at a beautiful accent wall covered in sticky notes. Xiaohongshu was like a more sophisticated version of Douyin, which is the real Chinese TikTok. Contrary to popular belief in America, thanks to this comedian who's never even been to China.
Apparently, like in China, the way that the algorithm works, it doesn't reward people doing stupid dances and like playing with their dog. The algorithm is rewarding things that they want to see their youth do. So people doing cool engineering shit,
that's so
people
fun.
doing cool science shit.
Now, this got picked up by politicians running for office. It got picked up by State Department people. I have to tell you something. I made this up.
Yeah.
I made this up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come clean to everybody. I made that up completely. I have no proof whatsoever. It just sounded good and I was passionate. And the show is called Brilliant Idiots.
So maybe that's the idiot we should really be blaming for the TikTok ban. Chinese TikTok is just as goofy as the US version. They on there dancing and doing silly stuff too. Xiaohongshu was elevated, more elegant, In-feed posts were beautifully curated collections of fashion, beauty, city landscapes, kind of like Instagram used to be before Reels. These redundant posts asking how everybody feels about everything under the sun, people begging for moots.
外国人在网上说的 moots 到底是什么意思呢？这个单词听起来有点可爱，它就是 mutual followers.
And what some described as meaningless posts have completely changed the vibe of the app. And this isn't just me saying this. I've asked my friends in mainland, both foreign and Chinese, and they hate it. They've said much harsher things than I ever will on this camera. At this point, the only Chinese people I see posting on the app are multilingual, and they are genuinely educating people or roasting you.
All these years, you called orange chicken and broccoli beef Chinese food. You think Chinese people give each other a lucky cookie after they go out to eat? No, we don't do that. After you called 火锅 hot pot, 筷子 chopsticks, 饺子 dumplings, Xiaohongshu RedNote, after all that, it's still fine. Just add Chinese subtitles to your videos.
Hello, I'm TikTok refugees. Let me tell you, be careful when using emojis on Chinese social media. For example, this one, you never use it. This one is a fake smile. It can mean you are so annoying, or I hate you, I'm speechless, or F word. Anything but an actual smile.
TikTok is back for now, but its future is still uncertain. Congress already passed the law that banned it, and that decision was upheld by the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. The highest court in the land. Once that happens, usually not even a president can reverse it. But nothing about this president is usual. So I've compiled some suggestions for creators who want to continue to use Xiaohongshu and grow. Number 1. Do something. This is not TikTok. A 32-second video of you whining into your camera is not the vibe.
TikTok refugee here. Yeah, hey, how's it going? Sorry to come over here and barge into your app. But if you like to dress like you're homeless, wear bedroom slippers to the grocery store, you know, got knocked up when you were 17, got your GED, if that's what they call it over there. You guys are really smart, though. We're kind of dumb in America. Kind of. Yeah. Say hi. Bye.
Show us something interesting, like a cool place that's unique to your city, the ways you decorate your home. Cooking demonstrates a talent. In China, cheerleading isn't common, especially the way we do it in the US. They want to see things they don't have in China, just like you want to see what life is like there. Remember the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is priceless? Just remember, if you are speaking, add simplified Chinese subtitles before you upload.
So I realize a lot of you guys are translating your English to Chinese wrong. You should always translate to simplified Chinese, because simplified Chinese is only used in China, and China only uses simplified Chinese. Only 3 parts in the world uses traditional Chinese, which is Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. So when you use traditional Chinese in your comments, it kind of seems a little bit disrespectful to the Chinese people from mainland China.
DR, fashion and beauty content is gold. But keep in mind, this is China. Show the clothes, not your body. Don't start the video in your underwear. But you don't have to be fully covered. The lines are blurry. We'll put it like this. If you are curvy or plus sized, you need to be more cautious than someone who isn't. Listen, I don't make the rules. Don't shoot the messenger. This is just what I've noticed from the people whose posts got removed versus those who didn't.
I just got my first under review video. This is actually my second, but the first time I deleted it because I thought it was something that I did. And this is the second time I've gotten one. And I'm like, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong?
She probably didn't do anything wrong. Remember, these English moderators are very new. So there are probably going to be mistakes. There are probably going to be things that are flagged or removed that shouldn't have been. So just be patient. Number 3, when you post, think high fashion. I don't mean you need high-end things. I mean, the images need to be high quality. If it looks like it belongs in a magazine, you did it right. They use a lot of beauty filters and editing software in China. Most women in China won't ever take a photo without hitting that button, turning on that app for that May 2.
I was watching videos on Xiaohongshu and I found a lot of tutorials on how to edit photos to be beautiful. So I downloaded May 2, and I took a photograph and I edited it to make myself look very beautiful.
Different country, different definitions of beauty. So keep that in mind if you do beauty content and also when you are watching it. Most of them do not look like that in real life. By now, you should have all of the answers to how do Chinese people feel about XYZ? If you still have a question, use the search function because someone probably already asked it. If not, feel free to slide in those DMs. Chinese people used to always DM me random questions about foreigners, and I'm always happy to answer. This is a safe space. Now, let's go over the community guidelines. Xiaohongshu added an excellent translate function impressively quickly, but when you click on the community guidelines tab, it's still completely in Mandarin. At the time of recording this, everything on this app can be translated with just a click except for the community rules.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
It's a simple document, and it's odd to me that they wouldn't just upload an English version of it. However, the one that's posted now hasn't been updated since February of 2023. So maybe they're making an entirely new one that is bilingual, just like all of my Chinese work contracts. Contract. I took the liberty of translating it for you, so here is a summary. Only share content that you created. If you share someone else's content, make sure you have their consent. If it's a sponsored post, say that. Not everyone is as fortunate as you. Don't flaunt your wealth. That's actually one of my favorite parts of like Chinese culture, the whole don't flaunt your wealth thing. We should talk about that in another video. Share things that have been proven by scientific research. Be very mindful in your fashion and beauty content. It's okay to share your fitness and beauty routines, but don't imply things that aren't true or promote extreme things like plastic surgery to the point that it influences people to think the only way to improve themselves is by doing what you did. Don't post nudity or sexually suggestive content. Don't impersonate others. Cardi B is really Cardi B, and she's been on Xiaohongshu for years. Don't use your platform to attack others. This is very important because y'all do this on TikTok all day long. For example, influencer A with 2 million followers calls out influencer B with 5 million followers for being a fake. That's not allowed over here. No clickbait. Make sure the content matches the title. Don't give medical or financial advice. And lastly, report anyone who violates everything I just said. There are a few more things in the guidelines regarding business and brand conduct, and obviously I just gave you the headlines. If I should do a full breakdown video, let me know in the comments. For my LGBT quoi? Did you notice I didn't say anything about being gay? That's because same gender sexual preference is not forbidden in China or on the app. Displaying it overtly is.
Hello for all the TikTok refugees. I'm very glad to introduce the gay community in China. First of all, I'm a gay monkey. In Chinese is Hou. This is gay bear. In Chinese is Xiong. This is muscle man. In Chinese is 肌肉男. Follow me again. Hou, Xiong, 肌肉男. And we are very happy to welcome all the foreigners come to China. Because here in China, gay is not a crime.
The same rules apply to hetero relationships. They don't care who you are, just don't throw it in people's faces. This is about to be a very difficult 4 years for a lot of people. For me personally, this is my first time experiencing a Trump presidency. I did not live here for the first one. Xiaohongshu can be an amazing escape from all of the madness that is going to infiltrate US social media. We may not be okay right now, but we will be eventually. In the words of the great philosopher Kendrick Lamar Duckworth,
We're gonna be all right.
see you at the next destination.